Hi, my name is Katerina, and today we are at YYGS, Yale Young Global Scholars. I'm from Ukraine, and I'm on ISC Session 3, Information Science and Technology. And today is one of our last days in 2025 Session 3, and we're closing our ceremony today. So let's take a look at our campus. Yale is super old, so we live without ACs, guys. And if you are successful in showing this in your application, I think that's how you succeed and get in here. So right now we are in Pearson College, which is one of the 3 residential colleges in YYGS, and this is where I personally live. It's a mixed co-ed college, so boys and girls live in different parts. And to get inside actually is not that easy because I have to scan my tag for the safety issues. The reason for that is that we live in New Haven, which is not exactly the safest place to live. And if we don't use this, there could be a lot of circumstances with people entering from the outside. So as you might see, this is upper court. This is the part where I live. And the whole Pearson College is divided into different parts, which are adherent to different letters. So on my tag, you can see that says Pearson College U. That says Pearson College Upper Court, and this is my window over there where I sleep and where I live. So in Pearson College, there are a lot of different types of rooms, and I, for example, live in a suite. So we have 3 people inside of the suite. We have a living room, sofas, 1 shower, and bathroom space for the whole floor. And I live in a room with a roommate, so I have a double, and one of our girls lives in a single in our suite. And there are different types of rooms. Honestly, there are a lot of different suites with a different quantity of people. Because I know in Davenport, one of the other colleges, there's a suite with 6 people, and some people just live in singles. But I personally think that living in a suite is really nice because you get to meet a lot of people from different countries and share experience of living with them. So let's come inside to the upper court, and I'm gonna show you our yard. This is the John Maillard Upper Court that was renovated in 2004, but it was founded in 1933, so you can say it's pretty old. And this is our courtyard. In the evening, it's super beautiful because all of these lights are yellow, and it's kind of the atmosphere is like romantic, and you're just sitting and hanging out with your friends and listening to music. And we are just usually chilling on these chairs and benches and play cards or just talk about our lives. These are all the windows of residents, so as you can see, they're all open because it's really hot in here this summer. I mean, you don't have AC. Yale is super old, so we live without ACs, guys. We are saving ourselves with 3 fans. I personally have 2 in my room, and my roommate is also having a big fan blowing on her, and that's why I sleep with that open window, and I'm just putting my head out of it because it's super hot. But when students in Yale study here in the fall, it's so much better because they don't have the heat of 34 degrees Celsius that we have here every day. So yeah, welcome to Pearson Courtyard. Here we have our dining hall and the main part of the building where we have a common space with a common room. Here we have a field where we usually play sports, volleyball, football, soccer, anything that people enjoy doing outside in our free time. So here we also have some shared activities. And a little bit about the structure of YYGS is that one of our main activities is family time, because this is our kind of a cool spot for meeting a lot of people. And during family time, we meet with around 12 other students that are fixed with our program and are kind of our family. So we spend every day with them, and we kind of reflect on all the lectures and seminars that we take part in, as well as we just spend time together, go out for lunches in the city, and enjoy the company of each other. Okay, so this is Pearson's common room, and you can see that our Pearson family is having some time of their life. It's 8 in the morning, but somebody's already playing the piano. And this is where we usually spend our time. We study, we work in our capstones, which is kind of a big project that we are doing together with our capstone team. And I'm not sure if you can hear me, but this beautiful music is filling our room almost every day because somebody is constantly playing the piano. And here are YYGS students. And as you can see, we have different lanyards. So I'm from ISC, and these beautiful guys, they have the white lanyard. Can you show it? Yeah, it's from LPC. Can you tell us what LPC is?
LPC stands for Literature, Philosophy, and Culture.
And mine is Information Science and Technology. So LPC is one of the 4 tracks that are more humanities, and here is our beautiful piano. Welcome to Jonathan Edwards College. This is the second residential college that I would be talking about. And this college is also one of the oldest colleges in campus. Overall, we all live in 3 colleges, so we don't spend throughout the whole entirety of dorms. But JE is famous for this beautiful yard that we have in here, and a majority of classes and seminars that we have are also going in JE. So basically, if we're talking about the academic part, we have seminars, which are kind of lectures that we have every other day. We in total have 3 seminars, which are approximately 2 to 3 days long. So we have 2 sessions with 1 professor and around 12 students. And these academic topics can span from anything from Ozempic to philosophy of technology. And since I'm an IST track, which is information science and technology, my first seminar was about the philosophy of technology and science. My second seminar was on vision language models, and my third seminar was more connected to psychology. It was called the power of persuasion and control, which is a really interesting topic, I would say. So
can you choose the seminars on your own?
Yes, we can fill out a form where we prioritize which seminars do we want to put in our kind of list of choices, and then we randomly get assigned to one of our top choices. But I honestly got all my first choices, which was pretty great. I know some people got their second choice, sometimes third choice, but this happens really rare because we do have a lot of different options of seminars, and it really depends on your track. In total, we have around 600 students right now on session 3, which means that for every track that we have, one of the 4 tracks, we have approximately 150 students. And overall, we have 13 acceptance rate for 1,000 and... Wait, let me calculate, I forgot how to do math. So if we have 600 students right now, so it's 1,800 students overall in all 3 sessions. If I remember this correctly, around 13,000 students applied. So this is what they chose for the setting of those 1,800 students, yes. So we're inside a JE common room right now, and this is where our dining hall is. It's super, super old, and you can see the pictures of our previous principals of Yale University. I'm saying ours as if I'm studying in here. I didn't go to Yale, but it's really old, and I think personally I enjoy it because it has a lot of history in it, and it also has a big spider on its walls, which is one of the mascots of John Edwards College. Every college in Yale, they have their own mascot, and they have their own kind of history of founding, and they are kind of competing with each other for the dorm cup every year, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, in our schedule we have an app that is called Stevens, where we can view where to go for our lectures, seminars, capstones, and all the academic parts of the program. So this is this is LC. As you can tell, it's pretty loud right now in New Haven, but this is LC, our lecture hall, where we have some of our classes, and I personally had my capstone in here. So capstone is a project that we make with our group. I had 5 people in my group, and basically we worked with our capstone for the entirety of the program. And I personally just presented my capstone yesterday, and our topic was on using AI to differentiate sickle cell disease deformed cells and malaria deformed cells, which is a really specific topic, I would say, but there were a lot of interesting presentations in the IST track. So this is Stirling Memorial Library, one of the biggest libraries on Yale University's campus. And as you can see, it's really old and it's filled with a lot of architectural details. If you zoom in on every single thing that is kind of engraved in here, you can see that it's super, super detailed, and it's so unique that any statue that you see in here is not repeating itself. And I think one of the most important things about this library is that it's a big archive, and you can find almost anything you want for your research that people do at Yale University, anything for leisure reading. It has several floors, and people go there not only from Yale University but also from YYGS. We are allowed to go into the libraries, enjoy our time, kind of study there, or take some books for reading. Of course, we don't really have that much time for it, but there is an opportunity.
All right, so it's been 2 weeks of you being here studying. So did the program meet your expectations?
Yeah, I think it actually exceeded my expectations because I came into the program not really expecting a lot, because that's kind of my mindset that I go in, I don't want to kind of create an image of where I'm coming for a program. I just know that it's going to be exciting, and I'm trying to put myself out there and make the most of it. But I didn't really look at the place before, like for the reason that I want to be surprised and just see the campus and meet the people. And I think I went in the first day, I was like, wow. The first thing that stood out to me is the diversity, because we have students from more than 150 countries represented.
Wow, that's a lot.
I was like, wow, that's 150 countries. I met people from Bhutan, Kuwait, I think also Ghana. I've never met people from those countries before. And there's also a big Eastern European representation. There are 8 people from Ukraine, which I really love because, you know, my fellow Ukrainians. And we're all from different regions. And there are also people from Romania, Moldova, Lithuania. So a lot of kind of this eastern part of Europe that is usually not really represented is present here, which was super surprising for me. And I think this was one of my kind of exceeding the expectations thing that I'm talking about. Other thing is that I expected it to be kind of in a way that it would be rigorous, but also we would have free time. And I really found this in here because I go to a boarding school that's called Phillips Exeter Academy, and it's really rigorous boarding school. We have studying from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, so I'm kind of used to this quick tempo. And here I felt like I was actually able to slow down and kind of enjoy some time with friends, because we do have lectures, we have seminars, we have capstones, but it's also really collaborative. So we are always surrounded by people and we are working on projects together. We're sitting in lectures and discussing it together. Majority of the lectures are kind of the conversation style. So you're sitting at a round table and you're exchanging the opinions of your friends and classmates, which is pretty great because you can hear not only the professor and teacher himself, but also the people who surround you. And people who teach us are also, some of them professors and some of them are Yale students, which was kind of something that I didn't expect, because I thought that the teachers would be kind of from all over the place. But it is kind of interesting to also share the experience with Yale students, if that makes sense. Other than that, we also had a lot of fun. It's not only about studying, which I thought also was a pretty good thing about my expectations versus reality, because I knew I would have fun and I would meet a lot of people that are great, but I didn't think it would be that fun. We have a lot of scheduled activities. We had the dance night, we had Just Dance, like a party outside. It was super hot, everybody was drenching with sweat. You know, we were dancing Ukrainian dance hopak, and then we were also doing a talent show where people performed. We were doing speaker series. It's like short TED Talks where people were talking about so many different subjects, ranging from the myths about Australia and Australian slang and accent to something like how to do magic tricks with cards. So it's kind of really similar to what we have in Camp Rising Sun, but it's more, I would say, sometimes academic-wise. And because there's so much diversity, people bring a lot of different stories from their countries. And yeah, that feels amazing.
That's great. I had an expectation that this program will be more into academics rather than giving you more time for enjoying. As you mentioned, so I'm surprised that you have enough time for yourself as well and enjoy and talk to people, because that's also important. Because sometimes when you go to the programs, it feels like you don't really have enough
time to connect
with others. Let's move on to the application process and how to get in here. I'm sure like people are surprised by seeing how beautiful the campus is and hearing about your experience of studying here. So how can one who have no idea how to apply, like, get into the program?
So basically, YYGS has 2 deadlines that you can apply. There's an early deadline, like in the US colleges, and there's a regular decision deadline. And I would say that I would recommend people to apply early, because if you don't have something that would change your application entirely by regular decision, especially if you're an international student and you're not from the US, I would apply early, because I think this was my 2nd year applying for YYGS. First year I was waitlisted, and they already took several people from Ukraine early. So I think there's also, well, I don't know why I was waitlisted, I'm just, you know, guessing. But I'm also guessing in a way that they do have a limit for countries and how many people they take from those countries, if we're thinking kind of more straightforward about this. So they're not gonna take 50 people from Uzbekistan, right? So they're gonna take maybe 2 or 3 people from all of those countries around the world. And I think applying early is the key, because even if you have a great application and you would be accepted, you know, sometimes there are already spots filled out for your country. So apply early, guys. Don't be late for the regular decision, because you're risking about not getting into those spots. And application process is quite similar to all other summer programs. It consists of an application part with essays, and there are several prompts that are changing every year. And I think that one of the prompts is similar to Common App, something in the way of tell me a challenge or an event that changed your life, something when you were vulnerable or something that challenged you a lot. How did you come out of it? How did you use your critical thinking? And actually, people write about everything. And when I'm saying everything, I mean it. I've heard a lot of different stories about how people are writing about something like their future career. Yeah, it would be being a veterinarian, right? And going to vet school, while also like combining it with the usual school. Or somebody can write about, oh, I was so into collecting those little bugs when I was a child, right? And you would like tell about the albums that you kept with all those bugs. So it really depends on who you are as a person. And I would say try to be creative in here and try to stand out. You can tell something about yourself that you think is really unique. And my advice for all why us essays and why you essays, I would call it like that. So why would YYGS accept you specifically to this program is to write about something that is so uniquely to you that if you change the name of the person in this application to another person, this would not work. And I would say also you can try being creative with the format. You can write a poem, you can write a dialogue, you can write, I personally wrote a diary entry. So in my essays, I, like in YYGS, so kind of like why do I want to go to this program? I wrote an essay in a diary way. So I wake up in the morning and I go to my lecture, blah, 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 I connect with people. So I kind of place myself on campus and show to admission officers how would I look as a person on this campus and how I would contribute to this campus, which I think is pretty important because we all people, and when we are reading applications, when admissions officers are going through those 13,000 applications, it's way easier for them to imagine you on campus when you write it out very detailed and when you actually do the research. And that's my second advice, is to do the research about the program, to find out about its values. And I would literally just go and create a spreadsheet, write out the words that are on the website. Like, what do they value, right? Do they value open-mindedness? Do they value sincerity? Do they value something else that might stand out for you on your own research? And try to connect your essays and your personality to those points, and maybe share those stories or thoughts that you have that are connecting to those values, because this is the people that are looking for. And if you are successful in showing this in your application, I think that's how you succeed and get in here.
Exactly. I think it's important, at least for yourself, to know as much information about the program as possible. So the more research you do, the better for your application. If there is an interview, by the way, there is an interview?
No, there's not any interviews because, again, it's 13,000 applications. So they don't really run interviews, and it's just one application with essays.
So what are some of the advice you would like to give for students on their applications? I mean, you have mentioned already a couple of your advice. Is there anything else you think it's important for them to know at this point?
One of the things that I would recommend is, if you're unsure about something, you can always reach out to students before. If you want to clarify something, for example, on the website, if you read about what is capstone, but you're like, I want to write about it in my essay, but I'm not really sure about what the capstone is, 100%. You can always find YYGS alumni and reach out to them. But I would say if you reach out, ask specific questions. So I would not ask something like, oh, how was your YYGS experience? Because this is a really broad question. And people are really busy with their life. So if they read this question, they would be like, a lot of things to answer. Maybe I'm not going to do it. But if you ask something specific, like, can you tell me what the capstone specifically is? Because I'm trying to understand how it works. So you're having a higher chance of a person answering to you. And I think you can always reach out to those people. And again, there's also an admissions email that you can reach out and ask any questions. Also, I would take into account that YYGS does not cover the flight costs. So if you are traveling to the US from another country, you would need to find a sponsor, or you would need to pay for your own tickets, which is kind of a financial restriction for some people. But because YYGS is also giving several millions into the financial aid that is granted to students every year for the program itself. I'm, for example, in full financial aid because this program is need-based. So they analyze your financial background and they define whether you're qualified for full aid or for partial aid, which is great because there are a lot of people who are in financial aid, and this is an amazing opportunity for us to come here and still have the privilege to be a part of this program, although we might come from a less privileged background, which is amazing in support of diversity. And I think another advice is also really basic, but guys, please don't use ChatGPT for your essays. I beg you,
Exactly.
because 13,000 ChatGPT generated essays, admissions officers see it really fast. And it's not only ChatGPT, Gemini, like anything that is AI, please don't use it. It's just 2 essays, you've got this, and you can write it on your own. They don't judge your English. Don't worry about it. Like, they don't judge your grammar mistakes. They don't judge how eloquent you are or how advanced your vocabulary is. It doesn't really matter. What matters about is how you write and what you write about and what story do you have to tell people. How do you present your thought process? It could be in a really easy way, it could be in easy words, but if admission officers can say, oh yeah, this person values like kindness or empathy, or I can see that they are really mature as a person, this is what would stand out to them, and not something like really advanced and eloquent that admission officer would be reading and think about, oh, maybe I'm just gonna grab a coffee, it's too hard to read, right? Because a lot of people kind of do this mistake. It seems pretty obvious, but I know it's really easy kind of to fall into the trap of like checking your essay with AI or like fixing some things, not of like even writing something. But think about the admission officer who is sitting there for the entire day, 8 hours per day, and is reading so many of those applications that they're really trained to differentiate when it's AI written and when it's not. They are not even going to like do the checking thing like through AI checkers. They just can see it. So it's not going to do good to your application, and you're probably not going to be accepted if you don't kind of like stand out with your writing. So my advice would be to just kind of choose a unique topic you want to write about and to be creative. Yeah, just play around with words, play around with the stories you want to share, and be yourself.
One thing that I would like to add is about ChatGPT. What I've noticed is when you try to show some emotions or show some of your personality, when ChatGPT rewrites or like improves your grammar, it sometimes actually changes the structure. And in your head, when you read it, it works. But when new person reads it, it actually doesn't give as much of the emotions as it was in your previous essay. Because I read some people's essay and I was like, did you use ChatGPT to improve? And they were like, yeah, I did. And then I was asking, do you have like the previous version? And it actually makes a big difference. So, I mean, maybe you can use it, but try to also, as you've mentioned, get some opinion from other people, because it's really important. Sometimes you want to say something, but because of the AI, it totally changed the whole idea.
Yeah, I totally agree on this. You can always use it for, I don't know, commas or something that is, oh, like, did I use the right tense, for example, in the sentence, right? Something that is not really changing the way how you write, but just makes it like more polished. But again, the content is, you're right about that. And one psychology trick that I would want to share is that we remember things the most that are tied to our emotions. So when you are writing about something that causes emotion in a reading, admission officer is more prone to remember in your essay. And it could be a strong emotion, right? It could be a strong happy emotion, could be a strong sad emotion, could be fear. So anything that is really strong, that kind of makes a person think like, wow, I like had an impression about this essay, right? It left kind of like a thought in my head after. It's gonna be more memorable for them than if you kind of like don't go below the surface of who you are and try to kind of just like share some basic things. Because an example could be, a lot of people can write, oh, I play the guitar and I love playing it, right? And you would read 1,000 essays about how people love playing guitar. And I see this all the time also, as Dilshad has mentioned. I'm also kind of like sometimes reviewing the applications now and in different like spaces, like not only in Camp Rising Sun, but what I see is that people have a lot of hobbies that they share, right? Like playing guitar. And it's totally right. It's totally fine if you play the guitar. It's a good hobby. But the way you talk about it is really prominent, right? The way you can talk about it could be not just, I have been playing the guitar for 8 years and I really love it. That's my hobby. Yeah, peace out. You can say something that guitar has made you think, right? Or you can say something that guitar has made you do. An example could be that you have always loved playing the guitar and you have traveled to countries to find out about the culture of where the classical guitar, for example, stemmed from, right? And you can say that I traveled to Cuba to track the history of the guitar, and I talked to native people, like citizens of Cuba, right? And they taught me how to play some of their songs, and it was a great experience that you shared with those people and connected with them and found out more about their culture. I know it's really specific, not that many people travel to Cuba to learn how to play classical guitar, but it's just one of the examples that I'm saying is really unique, right? Again, because even if you don't have this, super like exaggerated story, you certainly have something. And this is the thing that I would also like to highlight. Everybody has a story to share, and everybody has something unique about themselves. Even if you think, oh, I'm so basic, like I don't have anything to write about, you do, you just need to look for it. Just sit down and like actually start like writing. This is the hardest part, to just sit down and do the brainstorming. But once you get a lot of ideas going, once you get this flow, you can just do this exercise that I called 3-minute writing, like free writing. You just set a timer for 3 minutes and you write everything you think about. Like don't even think about anything, the grammar, the structure, the format, nothing. You just write everything that is in your head. It actually is also a psychological thing because it releases your like kind of unconscious thoughts, and you can kind of find out about the topics that you have never thought about before. The more you brainstorm, the more you explore, the more you dive into opportunity of remember the thing, oh wow, wait, actually this happened to me. Maybe it's going to be interesting to find out for other people.
That's like actually...
Why do we always have those construction trucks going on?
That's actually a great tool, free writing, because before you were mentioning, I was like, oh, I will add it. But then you added, so I was like, great. One thing that I want to add about free writing is that sometimes when you're writing these essays, you question like, how do I start? Like, where do I go? What do I write about? But when you do the free writing, it's important to not think strictly about the topic. It can be anything. And what I've noticed when I'm practicing it, sometimes I write some ideas which are like so great, which I might not come up with unless I did this free writing. So it's like really important to just clear your mind and start writing. Sometimes you go out of the topic, which is fine, but what is important is the process itself. It's very creative as well. So sometimes you actually find so many nice ideas that you can bring to your essay as well when you practice the free writing. So that's actually a very good tool. Thank you so much for all the advice. I'm sure people will benefit a lot from this interview and from your campus tour and get the idea of where they're coming to. And I wish you good luck in your college application and for your future.
Guys, stay tuned to find out where I'm gonna go to college.
Exactly. It's our actually second interview with Katarina. You can watch the first one about Camp Rising Sun, and especially
somebody remembers me from Camp Rising Sun. Hi. I'm still alive. I'm still here.
Exactly. And hopefully the third one will be when you're in the college.
Hopefully, guys. Fingers crossed. I don't know where I'm gonna go to college, but hopefully I'm gonna go to college in the US.
So good luck to you all as well. Make sure to apply and start as early as possible. And we hope that it was a positive video for you to get to know about the program. And we wish you good luck. Bye-bye.
Good luck.